Have you ever wondered what it would be like to ride down a mucky, boggy river in the freezing cold? Nope, neither have I. But here we are anyway. Welcome to Bike and Beyond. Oh, that was a deep one. That was a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. Oh, it feels good being back on the bike. So what many of you guys won't know is that I haven't actually ridden in about 7 or 8 weeks. I was involved in a car accident which left me with a few injuries and wrote my car off, so I've not really been able to ride. So I'm absolutely psyched to be back on the bike today. But I've certainly picked some interesting conditions to come and ride in.
You can say that again. A lot of trails and even the car park are currently underwater.
Let's find some trails to ride.
It wasn't long before I found the first section to ride.
Now I've got to be a bit careful riding this one because I've got some very valuable cargo in my pocket, which is this. Would be rude not to. Can't risk breaking that bad boy. Right, let's go.
So as I drop into the trail, the sun is shining, but there are plenty of puddles on the ground. This is a trail that I've ridden before. I made a video not long ago where I rode it 3 times back to back to see how much faster I could be once I got to know the track. I'll link that video above now. And it's fair to say that the conditions on that day were slightly better than today. As you saw, there's plenty of standing water all over the forest today. And considering the amount of rain we've had recently, this trail really isn't too bad. But it's definitely sticky and running slow, which caused me to bail on the gap jump up ahead at the last minute.
Didn't have the speed.
I've ridden the jump before, and watching this video it looks like I had enough speed, but it didn't feel like it on the day, and I chickened out. But there's no shame in it, I'd rather be safe than sorry. After not riding for a few weeks, and these conditions being a tad unpredictable, I'm taking things relatively steady, as you can hear from the constant squeaking from my brakes. Slopping around the next part of the trail, the conditions look almost spring-like, but my wet socks are a constant reminder that it's still winter here in the UK. With holes in my shoes, it's definitely time for an upgrade in that department. Heading into the trees, the trail gets tighter, which gives me the chance to move my bike around and see how my tyres perform in the mud. I'm riding Schwalbe Hands Damp and Assegai tyres, so they should be in their element in this kind of weather. I only wish I could say the same thing for my brakes and fitness. But at the bottom of the trail, I made it down with no problems. Right, on to the next one.
Yeah. Oh. So for those that don't know, it's basically been raining solidly for about 2 weeks now. And although the sun is shining today, there's still a lot of water on the ground. And also a lot of it is very icy as well. This isn't just water, this is ice. I'm gonna have some squeaky brakes today. That was a lot deeper than I thought.
This trail is in slightly worse condition than the previous one. Despite being on the top of a hill, this trail seems to be waterlogged. And as I'm going to find out in a minute, the lower sections are practically a mudslide.
There go the brakes.
Now, some people may ask why I'd go out and ride in this weather and in these conditions. Well, firstly, riding is fun no matter what the conditions are. Yes, I would prefer there not to be mud all over the place, but the winters can be long, and if you didn't want to ride in the rain, you'd pretty much never go on your bike. And the second reason is that riding in tricky conditions makes you a better rider when the summer eventually does come around again. If you're putting in the effort in the winter, you'll reap the benefits in the summer. So although winter riding may have its downsides, it definitely serves a purpose. Getting a bit further down the trail, I didn't feel like I could really trust a lot of the corners. They look pretty slippery and washed down, or submerged under a puddle, so I'm riding tentatively. It's also clear that my brakes aren't too happy either after their extended time off, because they are wailing like a banshee.
Not even my squeaky brakes can stop me from that one.
So like I said before, this lower section is a bit more unpredictable than most. But this is exactly what I'm here for. I love the challenge of unknown lines and unpredictable conditions. And if all it costs me is a couple of wet feet, then I'm happy to pay the price.
So I've just found myself a little trail entrance. I've never been down this one before, so I've no idea what it's like. But let's go and explore.
This is a trail that I haven't ridden before. This is the great part about going off and exploring, because you never really know what you might find. Whenever you take on a new trail, it's worth keeping your wits about you, because there could be any kind of random feature on here. This one is a little different to the trails I normally ride. I typically focus more on gravity oriented trails. The top section of this one is tight and twisty, with plenty of close trees that are ready to jump out and knock you off your bike. Now, I'm many things, but a dainty and agile rider is not one of them. So this type of riding really isn't in my wheelhouse. Since buying this bike, I hadn't thought about how wide the handlebars are, nor have I ever had a problem with them until now, but it certainly felt a bit close in here at times. Again, this is not a trail that I'd usually ride, so it provides a different kind of challenge, one that I'm perhaps not as practiced in. Having to time your pedal strokes and turning and moving my body position through the trees, these are all great fundamentals that can easily transfer to tight and technical descents. Not only that, but it can be really tricky to even see the trail at times, so you get to practice the mental aspects of riding too, like making quick decisions and assessing your line choice. After a few turns and alternative lines, I eventually found myself pointing more downhill. This section had some small jumps, but there were huge puddles on the lip, so it was tricky to know how the bike was going to handle. And being off the bike for 2 months had made me a little rusty. But with the whole top section being slow and twisty, it was nice to finally build up a bit of speed on this lower section. All in all, a very different but very fun trail. But just as things were starting to get good, I hit a little snag.
That was pretty cool. I wonder where I am. So just trying to find out where I am. Google Maps is no help whatsoever. Where the heck am I? I have to say, my shoes, socks and gloves are absolutely freezing cold and sopping wet. My trousers and upper body, although they're covered in mud, as I'm sure you can see, but they're not wet. So I'm wearing the Shield trousers and Shield jacket from Odyssey Activewear, and honestly, they're worth their weight in gold. Here we go, this is a trail.
Luckily, I found one final trail back down towards the car park, but it has a bit of a damp start.
That was a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Now, I'm never going to be riding at my best in these sorts of conditions, but it's great to be able to find some awesome new lines and link a few trails like this together. So when the ground eventually does dry out a bit, I can come back and really enjoy what they have to offer. This one, for example, is an undulating trail that spans a section of the woodland around a small valley. It has a few small jumps on the downhills and a few routes on the uphills.
It's hard not to brake before them when you have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, I'm braking more than necessary, but remember, I still have some valuable cargo in my pocket, so I've got to be a bit careful. With a mixture of gradients, this is a great enduro fitness trail. It's long enough to get you puffing and has some fun downhill elements, and it'll also keep your heart rate up with a short bit of pedaling.
Man, my brakes are squeaking today. It's almost as if my bike is also struggling from not being ridden for 7 or 8 weeks.
So with my brakes signalling to me that it's time to finish the ride, I drop out onto the very last fire road. Rides like this go to show you that even in poor conditions, you can still have a great day on your bike.
So that was an epic ride. It's clear that my bike and my shoes and socks have seen better days, but most importantly, the cream egg is still intact. Yes. Creamy.
So thanks for watching this video until the end. You guys are amazing. Now go out and ride your bikes, and I'll catch you in the next one.